First up, we are thrilled to introduce our first guest because he's pretty much a party rock star. His name is Mark Addison, and he's the new addition to Celebrations.com's panel of experts. Mark is the founder of Event Style, an experience design and production agency based in New York City, and his website is awesome. You have to check out his portfolio when you're done listening to us here. He's just great. His work has been featured on E! News Daily, The Apprentice, and America's Next Top Model. Mark's work has also been published in magazines such as In Style, New York, and Interiors. So here he is. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hi, thank you very much, Jeannie.
I'm so glad that you're here today.
I am glad to be on the show, and I'm glad to be one of the newer experts on Celebrations.com.
We're psyched to have you. We could sure use your fabulous style. So tell us about some of your pro ideas that we can do at home and some of your decorating tips.
Well, I'm looking really at this holiday about, I have this topic I call the 4 R's of holiday decorating to really reduce, reuse, recycle, and renew. And I like holiday decor that is, that lives on past the holiday or has multiple purposes. So I recently wrote an article about living holiday decor, where I feature different types of living plants, flowering bulbs, winter flowering bulbs, as well as holiday wreaths that you can make with living elements that can then be replanted or repurposed, and in other ways, even in the kitchen or in the garden, long after the holidays are over.
Oh, I love that idea. I think that's great because, nothing's sadder than January and you're just like, okay, I want to celebrate. I'm not done. And then you can look at that and can remind you of your parties. What kind of winter bulbs would you suggest? Do you have any in mind that would work well?
Well, there are a number of them that do work well. The paper whites or the narcissus work really well and are easily forced, and forcing is just simply causing the bulb to grow out of season. That can be done in water, and there are specialty vases that you can use. And it can be also done in ground and also in planters with gravel. I love paper whites. They're really pretty, have a great fragrance to them, and are easily planted. They can also be purchased pre-forced, and the shoots are already coming up this time of year, and they'll bloom just in time for the holidays. Well,
that's excellent. And holiday cocktail ideas. Man, you have Mark has a great article on Celebrations.com, the classic Bloody Mary, and he has a terrific idea for your holiday bar this season. Would you tell us about that, Mark?
Well, I like to call it the make-your-own bar, where you're not having to completely cater to the guests at all times. You can set up a great bar that the guests can come and make their own drink, and I think it works ideal with the Bloody Mary because there's so many varieties and there's so much personality that the guests can infuse into their drinks. Starting with the different types of bases you can use, something that's spicier, something that's pure tomato juice, to the different types of spirits you might use. Everyone's, the classic Bloody Mary is tomato juice and vodka, but there's so many varieties that can be done with gin, even tequila, and certainly there's a sake version of a Bloody Mary if you're into those types of flavoring. So
what do you have for the garnish on the sake?
Oh, with the garnish, those are fantastic. I would use a little bit of seaweed. Chopped up seaweed and some sesame seeds, some black sesame seeds, infuse a little bit of ginger. And I also like to do a flavored rim on the glass because it's really the first impression of the drink, and it really sets the tone for the flavor of that particular Bloody Mary. So I always do a seasoning rim. So with your different types of Bloody Marys, there are, again, endless options for the rim that you can create your own mixes, and there's plenty of mixes available to be purchased and used. You just simply have to wet the rim with a little fresh lime juice and dip it in your mixer before you end up pouring your Bloody Mary in. And a tip for making a Bloody Mary, you should always stir tomato juice because a shaken tomato juice turns into a big foamy mess.
Unless you're mad at somebody and they're wearing white and you just want to get them back. I mean,
Well, that's not the holiday spirit. But
that is it. It's my spirit. No, I'm just kidding. You know what, Mark, those are great. I mean, I have to admit, I've never heard of the sake Bloody Mary with sesame seeds, but that is absolutely something that I would try. And you know what, I remember reading your article. You have a little history about the Bloody Mary, too, don't you?
Yes, I am fascinated with the Bloody Mary. It's one of those things that it's the perfect travel companion. And it is mine. But the history of Bloody Mary is that it was originally called a red snapper, and it was a popular drink that was just tomato juice and vodka. And there's some debate as to who's the author of the modern day Bloody Mary, whether it's the St. Regis Hotel or Harry's Bar in Paris. But about the same time in the 1930s, the Bloody Mary was born by simply adding spices and different condiments to your tomato juice base, and then spicing it up with horseradish and Worcestershire and a little dash of hot sauce. And that's the classic Bloody Mary. The St. Regis in New York City likes to claim it.
Excellent. Well, see how smart Mark is? That's why he's our new celebrations expert and why we love him. And also, I see that you have an article, and I love this because, it's simple tips for New Year's party success. And I think we could all use a little simplicity on New Year's Day. So what are your quick tips in there?
Well, again, make it easy for yourself. This is a day when the holidays have been very busy for everyone. And, again, entertaining guests should be an open and easygoing experience. So my favorite thing to do is a one-pot meal. I love using a slow cooker or a crock pot, as it's called, and create a one-pot meal where guests can simply serve themselves a great bowl of a soup or a chili. And then my absolute all-time favorite, of course, for New Year's is going to be the black-eyed peas. It's a family tradition and superstition on New Year's Day. To cook up a pot of that. And again, make your own cocktail bar. I think the Bloody Mary is a classic, but you can also do one with sparkling wines and different fruit infusions to make up some special, very brunch-like classic cocktails, like a mimosa.
Right, or a Bellini or something.
Bellini, exactly. Yeah. But then go crazy with it. There's all different types of fruits that you can use. And even you can use sorbets, which is one of my favorite things to do. A blood orange sorbet and a little dollop of that in a champagne glass is absolutely delicious. It's a modern-day, sophisticated float, if you will.
Fabulous. Well, Mark, welcome to the Celebrations family of experts. We're so happy to have you. And thanks for sharing all your great ideas, okay?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And to learn more about Mark, visit markaddison.com as well as eventstyle.com and see all his great tips there. Check him out and his articles on celebrations. And you'll find his articles on celebrations at celebrations.com/Mark. That's his expert page. And you know what? Like I said, eventstyle.com, great photos in his portfolio. Thank you, Mark.